Dear friends, we are back here at the live streaming of National March for Life from Slovakia. We are very glad today that we have invited our special Dr. Szymonom Grzelakom. Doctor, welcome to our streaming.
I'm very happy to be here with you.
Thank you very much for your time and for your effort which you are giving to us. And I'm also welcoming my dear co-moderator, colleague Renáta Ocilková. Vítaj.
Thank you very much.
Dear friends, we are here today with a special topic, which is quite important because everyone, if you ask anyone who is interested in future generations, like, are you willing to help youth? Do you hear that they have some problems when they are growing? And would you like to give a hand and help them to prevent some failures, some problems which they can avoid? And anyone would answer yes, but maybe we don't know how to do it. And I'm very glad that I have heard at the conference in Poland, which I attended with my dear colleague Renáta, that there is a special program in Poland, which is called International. Doctor, you will tell us all
Yes.
of these special things. I will let this on you. So I'm very glad that Dr. Grzelakom is here with us, and he is father of 4 daughters and 3 grandchildren, from which one of them is on his or her way to this to see us and so can meet them, her or him in the family. And Dr. Grzelakom is head of European Institute for Integrated Prevention, which is a successful organization, and their program is very successful because it's accepted in many ways in Poland, in institutions, and also in other countries. And at this point, I would like to give a floor to Dr. Grzelakom and ask him to present himself, the institute, and the program with the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very happy to be here with Tomáš and with Renáta, whom I know from several conferences, and also the fact that some people from Slovakia are listening to us. I hope that some kind of cooperation really can start after we discuss these things. So I will have a presentation, and after the presentation, I think we will discuss some topics. But before, I would like to tell you that I really do love Slovakia. This is a country which is really, I visited many times. I love Slovakian mountains. Me and my wife, over 30 years ago, we went for our honeymoon to Slovakia. So we visited Slovenský Raj, we visited Rohače and Litmanova,
Great.
Levoča. And even I remember what people were saying when we visited Levoča. They were saying, Sviaty oče do Levoče. That's what people were saying there. So I also like Slovakian food. Česnaková, halušky brindzowe. I even prepare halušky brindzowe, and my family says that they are really good.
That's great.
So I will share the screen with you. Let me try to do it. Share the screen. That's the one. And you have to accept it, yes? Okay, so now we have the screen. The topic is Integrated Prevention Helps Youth in Poland, How to Effectively Prevent Youth Problems and Counteract the Demographic Crisis. Because we can do both things at the same time, and both things are really difficult. Oh, it's not changing, just a moment. Yeah, now it works, and yeah, now it's okay. Wait a minute. Right. So the the theoretical approach that I developed 25 years ago has brought many fruits. We have produced 12 prevention programs for youth. There is a network of 20 cooperating organizations, and we reached, as you can see on the slide, over 400,000 teenagers, many adults, and we are also running a very big research altogether, over 150 subjects in our research across the years. We are preparing reports for schools and for cities, and we also organize conferences. We have written several expert reports for different institutions. There is also a special prevention award that is our idea, and we are implementing it since a few years. And we influenced some legal acts in Poland, and we managed to do it with a really small team, but it took many years to get to these results. Just a month ago, I was so happy to be invited to the Presidential Council for Family and Demography. You may know that in Poland, Prime Minister and the government is the real power. So the president is not such a real power. But when we have a conservative and pro-family president, it's around the president that pro-family organizations and experts try to organize themselves and do something. And even without any money, because there is no money for this council, but we are doing quite a big job, and we are working. And tomorrow we have another meeting. So we will try to prepare some pro-family, let's say, maybe not legal acts, but some intellectual work, some preparation for future ruling of pro-family, of future pro-family government. What we can share with Slovakia, with your country, I will say a few words about each of these topics. A good theory, high quality research, which is very important if you want to convince people about what you think is right. Effective prevention programs, helpful publications which are accessible in Polish and in English, and a strategy of communication and lobbying. Why is this theory, integrated prevention model, helpful? Why does it help in our work? I will try to make it simple. There is a scientific definition of this integrated prevention model, but I will not really talk about scientific definitions. There is some background, some theoretical foundations, other theories. I'm not going to talk about it. It would interest mainly experts. But what I want to show to you is what idea is behind this integrated thinking about prevention of youth problems. If you imagine that each black dot represents a single kind of problems, like, for example, alcohol problems, drug problems, sexual problems of youth, crime, violence, many of these problems. There is a well-established, fragmented approach to prevention, so that you create programs which are devoted to a single kind of prevention. So you have a program for alcohol prevention, another for drug prevention, another for HIV/AIDS, another for violence, and one more for depression, suicides. And finally, you run out of money, and you still didn't cover many other kinds of problems. We have a list of problems in one of our publications, and we managed to discover 46 different kinds of youth problems. So you need something else. With fragmented prevention, when you find a new problem like phonoholism, you have to start a new kind of prevention. You have to develop new programs. And if you, for example, want to help young people with their problems of sexual disorientation, same-sex attraction, gender dysphoria, they do not accept their own sex, you still have to devise a new kind of prevention. It does not seem to be effective. What we are doing in integrated prevention, it is that first we look how these problems in scientific research, how these different problems are interrelated. Many of them have similar causes, similar risk factors. Many of them have similar protective factors. So there are the protection you can get against one problem, and it's quite often the same protective factor that prevents from another problem. So you can plan prevention in such a way that you focus. Your focus is not on a single problem, but on reinforcing prevention protective factors that are universal for different problems, and also you attack risk factors that are universal. And with this approach, when you want to work with a new problem, like, for example, phonoholism or sexual disorientation, you just put a little bit of more questions in your questionnaires. We have such questionnaires in our research, and you just look how these problems are interrelated, and then you plan your action. You can do it, and it's really cost effective. It is much cheaper, and it's the same with such a new problem which we are aware of. Since we were, as experts, we were aware of the problems with demography 10 years ago, but the general public becomes only aware of the problem in the last maybe 2-3 years. So we can see that young people do not want to have children. Many of them do not want to have children, and we treat this problem as one of many problems that are a part of this integrated prevention approach. So it is holistic and it is cost effective. And why it is helpful if you work in pro-family realm? Because when you look at the differences in the society, and a difference between those who want liberal sex education and those who want pro-family education, there is a lot of conflict. Is marriage a value, or you should allow many different kinds of relationships? Do we want sexual abstinence for teenagers, or maybe contraception? Do we want to have pro-life approach, or we want to have pro-abortion approach? There's a lot of conflict. So with integrated prevention approach, what we are doing is we can show to the public, to the school directors, to the parents, to the politicians, look, we want healthy development of young people. We want to support their dreams and passions. We don't want drugs and alcohol. We don't want violence, juvenile crimes. We don't want suicides. And also we are talking about sexuality, about love, about family, and we have a pro-family approach. Okay, there still is a problem with this pro-family approach because there are people who are opposing it, but it's only 10% of what we are doing. So the conflict is not as it's not such a hot problem. This is why we are quite successful in different places of Poland, including even some big cities. And in big cities you have politics. And where is politics, then all these problems and conflicts are really, really hot. And we managed to work, for example, in Wrocław, which is a big city, and we can work there because of this integrated prevention. One important thing that we can see from our research is how different protective factors can protect against different problems. And here you have just a drawing, a scheme that shows 3 main groups of protective factors. Parents who are the best protection, faith and religious practices, which are from our, and not only our research, a real strong protective factor, and good atmosphere and acceptance in class. And each of these green arrows shows that with this protective factor, there is less drugs, less suicides, less violence, etc. And a greater willingness to have children, which is demographic, which is important. This drawing is from a publication that was written by us 10 years ago. And it's still very up to date. Among these common risk factors, what is very important and what we are showing since over 10 years in Poland and internationally is that sexualization, which is a term defined by psychologists, by American Psychological Association, sexualization, and we have a scale of sexualization in our research, is a risk factor of many problems. So if young people, if teenagers are sexualized, if they treat sexuality as without respect, if they use pornography, etc., it influences their behavior. They are more suicidal, they use more drugs, there is more violence, etc. So we don't want sexualization, not only because of sexual behavior, but also because of other problems, which is very important. This book is a very thick textbook, handbook of clinical psychology for children and adolescents that is used at universities. And in this book, this integrated prevention model that I'm talking about is shown as a positive example of a science-based approach to prevention. It's very important because it means that we cannot be disqualified that we are not scientific. Now, a few words about youth prevention and demographic crisis in our research. So I just want to give you a bit of just a few slides, only one aspect of what we see in our research, because there would be a possibility to repeat such kind of research in Slovakia and to see the results, and you could use the results. One of the questions that we are asking since 25 years. Would you like to have children in the future? And as you can see, Polish teenagers, here you have ages from even 11 up to 17, 20,000 young people. Some of them want to have children, but some of them do not want to have children. It's important, their dreams. I mean, dreams are important. If you're in kindergarten, you're a child, and you're playing with dolls, and you pretend that you're a mother and a father, it is important and shapes your mind, because you can pretend as a 5-year-old child that you're a businesswoman, right? And what is motherhood? So it is important. Dreams are important. And then there is another question. If you want to have children, how many? And now, if you combine answers to these two questions, you have something what we sometimes call procreative aspirations. So how many children our teenagers want to have when they will become adults? What are their dreams about their future family? And what we see is that if you compare it with this natural level of generational replacement, which is 2.1 child, and if you compare it with what we can see in the dreams of young people, so in Poland, dreams of young people that were teenagers 10 years ago were below 2.1, and after the crisis of COVID and isolation, it dropped to 1.5, 1.6, which means that if we have a terrible demographic crisis now, we will have it even deeper and even worse in the future. Now, here you can see how these procreative aspirations, what happens when teenagers get older. And what is very worrying, that you can see that those kids that are age of 11, they want to have still more children than those who are 16 or 17. So what happens? Social media, individualistic culture, anti-family culture, and when our teenagers grow up, they even lose those dreams about family that they had when they were children. So if we want to overcome the demographic crisis, it's not, we need to work with adolescents. We need early prevention of demographic problems. We need to start early on, and we need to use the knowledge about protective factors which can change something. And I will give just an example of 3 factors that we discovered as the 3 strongest, at least in our research, that help. So those teenagers who have these factors, they want to have more children. And here you can see one of the results. There are teenagers who have contact in their life, personal contact, with married couples who really love each other, who are a very good example of love, of lasting love, of beautiful love. If a teenager has such married couples around him or around her, there is much greater probability that this teenager will want to have children in the future. So you can see that those who do not even believe that such happy married couples even exist, those who do not even believe that, they want to have only a half of those children that would like to have those who can see around themselves many such couples. And those who have many happy, loving married couples around them, they give us a replacement of generations, right? Now, positive vision of love. The more positive vision of love of teenagers, the better for the demography. Now, what is this positive vision of love? We have a set of 2 questions. Can true and lasting love happen these days? Is it possible? True and lasting love. And there are teenagers who believe it is possible, and there are others who are pessimistic. They don't believe it's possible. And there is a second question. Okay, you maybe believe in true love, or maybe you do not believe in true love. But how do you define in your mind true love? So some define it that it's something that ends quite soon, only a little bit longer, lasts only a little bit longer than untrue love. Some others say, oh, even true love disappears over years. But then you have also teenagers who believe that true love never ends and it grows over years if you know how to build it. So the more positive, the stronger is the positive vision of love of teenagers, the more open they are to the perspective of having children in the future. And this is a factor that you can influence. You can influence it with education, with prevention, because you can teach young people what is love. You can show to them your own example of marriage. You can discuss these things with them. And the third factor, the more religious is the young person, the better for demography. Those who are believers, for whom faith, religion is very important, want to have twice as many children as those for whom religion is not important. And in our former research, we compared Catholic, Protestant, and Orthodox teenagers in Poland, and the level was very similar. So I would expect that also in Slovakia, for example, for Greek Catholic and Catholic and Protestant, it also would be similar level. Now, there is this importance of religion even now, when we have very strong opposition against religion, when many teenagers lose their faith. But still, over half of them will say, even a year ago, like in this research, that religion is even, faith is even very either very important or rather important for them. So this factor still exists and still is powerful. Now, just one mention about I want to mention something I think quite interesting, especially for people who are religious, maybe for priests, maybe for catechists. Here you can see the answers of teenagers, of Polish teenagers. Do you ever turn your thoughts to God? However you whatever you think about God, do you turn your thoughts to God? And you can see that there is only a small margin of those who say never, right? And now, next slide. It's maybe a bit hard to read it, but here you can see our measure, our scale of current mental state. And when current mental state is poor, you can see on the left side of the slide, poor, and you can see that there is a difference. So there is many more. There is 44% of those who say, I never turn my thoughts to God. So 44% of those are in poor mental state. And those who turn their thoughts to God every day, only 25% are in poor mental state. What is very interesting for me is the difference between those who say, I never turn my thoughts to God, and those who say, I turn my thoughts to God only several times a year, just a few times a year. It's the orange and the red on the left, the two bars. So, I mean, would you even think about it? Someone turns his thoughts to God just a few times a year, and it works, and the mental state is better. And when I come back to my own time when I was a teenager, I was a non-believer because my conversion took place when I was at age 22. So, and if someone would ask me, are you a believer? I would say no. I never went to the Holy Communion. I never went to religious classes. I was not, formally attached to the church. So I would say I'm a non-believer. And if someone would ask me, but do you turn your thoughts to God sometimes? Well, I would have to say yes. Because my grandmother taught me how to pray. And a few times a year when I had a crisis, I used to pray. But I would answer, I'm a non-believer, you see? So there is a power even in a very small piece of candle that is, a small light in the soul of a young person. We should treat it very seriously as a real potential. Now, one more thing from the research. We ask young people about their life goals. What kinds of, work, career, sports, different kinds of life goals. And there is only one life goal that is healthy on all dimensions. Those young people who say that happy family life and children is their life goal, they are healthier. They have less drug use, alcohol use. They are less depressed. So we can work for the good of individual psychological health of a young teenager, and at the same time for demography, doing the same job, because these two dimensions are interrelated. Now, yes, there is no conflict between these two dimensions. This is just only a little bit of what we are doing in our research. There are many other things, but I just wanted to show you the report that we have done for Malta, It was a research in many schools, a representative sample for Malta, and we prepared a report for them. It was a part of Erasmus Plus project. Another report was for Lithuania. That's something that we are able to do if there is a cooperation with Slovakia. There are programs, prevention programs for youth that we are running and developing. And one of these programs, I just want to focus on one of actually 4 that we are developing now. Archipelago of Treasures, because this particular program is already prepared for international work. It's 8 hours of work with a big group of teenagers. There are 3 or sometimes 4 qualified trainers who work with young people. These trainers have to live in their own lives according to what they teach young people. In this program, there is some content about love and sexuality, and also there is some prevention of alcohol and drug use and of violence, etc. So it is integrated prevention. It is very active. It is very, how to say, it's really some kind of an adventure for young people. And it is effective because we know it from the research. There is proof that the program decreases the use of drugs, alcohol. There is increase in assertiveness. There is decrease in use of pornography and sexualization. There were some results that young people want to have more children. Years ago, we had these results, then we lost these results. It seems to be more difficult to work against this individualistic culture now than it was in the past. So there is a decrease in suicidal thoughts, which means that we are really doing integrated prevention. So there are some effects regarding love and sexuality, but also other effects, which makes the whole program much easier to accept by schools, parents, etc. Our recent research, where we worked with a program in special care centers with socially maladapted young people. And we had beautiful effects, especially regarding young girls, because they are, these girls from these youth centers, they really have sex. I mean, most of them had their sexual, experiences of different kinds. And there was a decrease in current sexual contacts among these teenagers. So there are really good effects. Now, we also talk with young people. We try to show to them a new perspective on the topic of same-sex attraction and gender dysphoria. It is very difficult to talk about these problems in schools because parents have so different approaches, but we managed to pass through some of these things that you can see here, so that a young person can hear that it may be hard to accept one's own sex and body, and it does not mean that you have to change sex if you cannot accept it. I mean, you can work on it. It is normal that you're confused. You can be a man or a woman in a different way than a majority of men and women, and if you feel a bit different, it does not mean that you have to change into becoming a woman, which biologically is, of course, impossible. There may be some homosexual or transsexual feelings, and it happens in adolescence, but in most of cases it just passes away. So, and it's not good to hurry with coming out. It's better to wait and see. So there are things that we are doing for young people because nobody does it. I mean, media don't do it. People are afraid. Parents do not know what to say. So we are trying to put in our programs. This is a group of our trainers. We have every year, we have our international meeting, well, national meeting mainly, but sometimes Lithuanians come Malta trainers do not come. But here you can see a group of trainers. With this size of group of trainers, we can reach about 30,000 young people in Poland every year. For Slovakia, which is a smaller country, I mean, really a group of 10 trainers would really do a lot. Here you can see some pictures of the program from Lithuania where our trainers work thanks to this Erasmus Plus project. And now the last element I would like to show to you, an example of effective promotion of pro-family approach to education and prevention. We managed to organize a conference in the Polish Senate in cooperation with the Family Commission of the Senate. We managed to do it above the divisions, which is literally almost impossible, but we did it. It was above the divisions. And we have an invitation to repeat the conference this year, so we will try to do it once more. And during this conference, the music is from my computer. So we also grant an award for the Prevention Professional of the Year. And it was already the 5th edition during this conference. This is the picture. The senator on the wheelchair was the main organizer. And there was over 100 people, and it was a beautiful feast of prevention. But it was us, the pro-family organization, that gives the only national award in Poland for the prevention professionals. These are people who received this award across the years, usually from small towns, people about whom nobody heard, but they do beautiful work. And since this year, we had a new award for a prevention professional who is also a very good example of a large family. So one of the families was a family with 6 children and another with 8 children, and they are doing prevention work, and they are sharing their beautiful experience of family with teenagers. So you can find on our website, you can find the publication which was prepared for this conference, and it's accessible in both in Polish and in English. So we are trying to develop international cooperation. There was quite a success in Lithuania. In Malta, they started, but I'm not sure to what extent they will continue. It seems that our cooperation is stronger with countries of similar mentality, like Lithuania, and like probably Slovakia would be. And now there is a plan for a new Erasmus Plus project with Spain and Latvia. So, but we only are there will be only a first meeting for those who are discussing this possibility. So this is what I wanted to present to you. It took a bit maybe longer than you expected, but I hope it was useful, and I hope we can discuss for a while, so that you know, we can see what to do with it. Maybe you have some questions, or maybe you have comments.
Great, Doctor. Thank you very much for a presentation and for everything what you said. It's really astonishing for me that there is so great things happening in Poland. It was really important for me to see that, and I think for everyone, that you are accepted. You were in this Senate conference, and also you are part of this council of your current president, who will be there 4 more years, as far as I know.
Yes.
So
4.5.
4.5. So I hope and pray that you will have a long-lasting cooperation over there, because you bring great things and great topics to the public and to the important places. As far as I know, you were actually. I wanted to stress more or come deeper that you have a cooperation with Lithuania and Malta. and also you are thinking more about this Spain and other countries. So maybe if we would find a body in Slovakia, which would be it might be possible to bring this program via this Erasmus Plus also here. So maybe we can think about this. And what I wanted to ask, which comes to my mind, and I ask also my co-moderator colleague to bring some questions if she has any. You have this very interesting approach that especially it's accepted in liberal cities. I mean, large cities are mostly liberal, and also how do they respond to your program? Do they hesitate somehow?
So maybe so it's good that you asked, because I think that what I said was, of course, a bit oversimplified. I mean, it's not so easy.
Yeah,
we had also attacks against us. There was a very big hate action against us, which ended in stopping our cooperation. For example, in several districts of Warsaw, and we were too weak to respond to this hate action. Because it was supported. It of course happened during one of the election campaigns, so it was used politically.
Yeah,
and I was presented as someone who supports rapes among girls. I mean, it was stupid. It didn't make sense. But they were stronger in terms of access to the media.
right.
So there are cities where we still work, but there are others that where we are not able to work anymore. Well, so and we.
Yeah, it's important to stress this also, because it happens. We have also experiences with negative push against our activities. So we really understand what you're saying. At the end, the parents are important. So I hope that at least some parents even from bigger cities. I live with my children in Bratislava, which is the biggest city in Slovakia. So I hope that even few people would be even interested. So, but still, yeah, we experience the similar things as also in Poland. You presented some parts. Actually, maybe I forget, but have you presented some results? Like, have you done some research of attitudes of young people before your program and after your program?
Yes. So when I'm talking about results of evaluation research, I'm not talking about just questionnaires after the program, because this does not tell you much. I'm talking about an experimental design where you have several schools. Usually they're randomly chosen in some way. I mean, so you choose some schools for a group where there will be our program, and others will be control schools. And then you have questionnaires, and then you have the program, and then you have another research, and then you compare what is the change, right? So it's really hard to get results with this kind of approach, because and because I'm a specialist in this kind of research, and I can tell you that when I create a program and I know how hard it is to really get results, I'm thinking like double and triple in order to have these results, because I know how hard it is. So you have to use all possible effective strategies in prevention that are already known, and invent new in order to have results. And still, as I told you, I think we had stronger results 15 years ago than we have now. But what does it mean? It means that in this contemporary culture that we have, it's simply more difficult to be effective, because there's, we didn't have social media 15 years ago.
Yeah, but we can't give up because we love the
We
young.
can't give up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shimon, may I ask, please? How long does it last, this program, between first and last research?
Oh, so you say not the program, but the research, yes?
No, program, actually. You did first research before program, prevention program, and a second research after.
Okay.
And how long?
Yes. In prevention, you have programs that can last several months, maybe the whole year, like Teen Star program. I cooperated with Teen Star program. I was implementing this American program in Poland, and also cooperated with people from Slovakia 25, 30 years ago. And this program lasts the whole year. When I was doing this kind of evaluation research 25 years ago for the author of the program, for Dr. Hanna Klaus, she asked me to do it because I knew how to do this research. So I was doing this research the research was conducted in Poland, in Chile, in the United States, and in Uganda, in these 4 countries. And it was a project for the whole year because the program was very long. And I measured the results, and there were some results. But for me, the results were discouraging because they were too small as for the whole year of hard work. So I decided that I would like to look for simpler ways to get to the results, that we could have a wider scale of work. And this is how we worked with Archipelago of Treasures, which lasts only 8 hours. It's 2 days. So it's 2 days in a row, 1 day and another day, and a big group. And it's not the power of only the program itself that changes something in young people, but it is more about reinforcing good influence of parents, of local community, of the church. So there are good people who teach life to young people, but there is culture that works against it, and there are peers that work against it. So what we are doing in these 2 days, we are creating a powerful experience that turns young people's minds toward what their parents are saying them, that it's not stupid. They need to hear it from someone else. And we try to do it in an attractive way. So this is why it is easier to make it some kind of a show, because you can, of course, if you know education, you know that, for example, if you work in a class, in a normal typical class, you have roles. There is a leader in the class, there is a bad guy of the class, there is a scapegoat. And if you create a group of 3 classes or 4 classes, 80 young people, 100, you go with them to the local cinema and you meet with them, and there is a group of 3 trainers who are not afraid even to share their own experience, of course, in a moderate way. Then this new group, it has no structure, because there is no scapegoat for this group of 100 people, and there is no leader. So it is us trainers who know how to create positive leaders in this group, how to reframe this group in a positive way. So this is how we work. I mean, of course, I could tell you a lot more, but there is a lot of clever theory and practice behind the way we work.
Doctor, you are very passionate about your work. I see it very, very much, and I'm really glad.
And we take for trainers only passionate people. You see,
Great.
If you want to become a trainer, first you have to come to me and have an interview, which is very personal. There are many personal questions, and believe me, half of those who come do not end up as trainers because they are encouraged. Please first work on your addiction to pornography. Please first work on relationships in your marriage, etc. Because we cannot take people who are not ready really to be like a positive
Example.
lamp for young people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really, you are now showing us deeper insights into your approaches, and it's really great to hear even the thing that you don't come to a class where there are the roles already set, but you mix different classes where the roles are scattered all around. So it's really interesting approach.
We had just one example. There was a school in Warsaw. It was a time where we still could work in Warsaw, and in this school, it was a technical school, and there was a girl that was really in the shadow. She was the shyest person in the group. And on the second day of our program, this girl in this atmosphere prepared a presentation for a festival of creativity. So there are some prevention topics, and young people present something, a poem, a drawing, whatever. And she prepared something. And she had courage in this good atmosphere that we created to present it in front of the whole group. And this shyest person in the group became a school, one of the leaders of the school. Just a year later, she was one of the leaders.
Wow.
So of course it happens only sometimes.
Yeah.
And when you work with young people, you need to know that you not always have success. There are programs that do not go that well. I mean, for example, everybody in Poland knows that if you go to the big city, your work is harder and the probability of success is lower compared to small villages where you have open young people trusting you. They're not spoiled so much as in big cities.
I totally understand. Yeah, it's hard. Renáta is actually going to the classes and to the different cities, so if she can maybe share a few experience if this is harder in bigger cities in Slovakia also.
I would say also I have the same experience, but I think it doesn't work generally because of social media. Actually, I experienced already also in the very small village in north of Slovakia, terrible things with children or with young people, very similar to the atmosphere or experience like in Bratislava, for example.
Wow.
But it happens that in small villages it is better, but not always. Not always.
Mm-hmm.
Not always. I think because of social media.
Excuse me, Renáta, you enter schools as a specialist from outside of the school, right?
Yeah.
Is it also your experience? But because what we see in Poland is that cooperation with teachers and school directors is better in small towns compared to big towns. And this is important for us because when you have good cooperation with teachers, it is easier to work with youth.
Mm-hmm.
And really, teachers in big towns are quite often, I mean, they are not engaged so much. I mean, there is a bigger difference between teachers than between youth sometimes, but maybe you do not see it in Slovakia.
Actually, I'm going to the schools only on ground of the invitations. That means teacher is interested in my lecture or head of school. Not always head of school is interested, but actually always at least one or more teachers.
Okay, so you come to schools that are interested because in Polish system of preventions, sometimes the school is interested in our program, but sometimes it is the local government that is interested and the particular school is not interested. And here we have a tension, right?
Yeah, I understand. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wanted to ask.
Go ahead.
So, question: do you have any specific idea how we could start to cooperate?
You see, in the sequence of what should happen in order to start the practical work, there are some things that can be a good, let's say, starter. One is that some people from Slovakia who understand Polish, and there are some who understand Polish, come to Poland, to the south of Poland, just to see the program. That's a very simple thing. When we trained trainers from Lithuania, we chose Polish people from Lithuania who knew Polish, but they live in Lithuania, because it made the whole process of training quicker. So if you have the first group of trainers out of those who understand Polish, then they can train later on other trainers in Slovakian. It's easier.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing, just to that people see and the program. Another thing is to do the research according to our method of research, because we cannot start prevention work in a new reality, like a new country, without a research in this country. And believe me, if you want to offer a program and you do not show the results from this country, I mean, what would it mean for people in Slovakia, results from Poland? I mean, it's different reality. They want to see their own results. And I'm 99% sure that almost every result that we can see in Poland will be similar in Slovakia, but still we need to do this research in Slovakia, because this is convincing, right? So we need a partner for this research. In Malta, there was the head of the team that cooperated with us, in this NGO that cooperated with us. She was a dentist. She had no knowledge about empirical research, but our specialists came to Malta for one training, just described how to do this research. There was someone who had access to schools, and they had a sample. They managed to have a sample of over 1,000, but in Lithuania they had a sample of only 500, and for the start it still was enough. It's not a big thing. I mean, you can do it even as a volunteer, but to develop the program, to train trainers, you need some resources. And we learned the hard lesson that Erasmus Plus is by far not enough, because you can pay for some traveling, things like that, but for the actual process of training, well, there was so much work that was unpaid that it's really hard. So then what would be needed, maybe some private sponsors, maybe some European project and some national project, maybe a smaller or medium city that would come into a cooperation, because cities sometimes have more, let's say, more money than a state for sometimes for some goals.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm thinking also we have this how to say that in English, the 8 parts of Slovakia, which are
regions, yeah.
Regions, yes, thank you. Which might be involved in this, because they are running the secondary schools, so they might be really interested in prevention of alcoholism and youth porn addiction and things like.
The best strategy is to start from the most cooperative region, from the easiest place where you have, in the place where you have not many obstacles. That's the best strategy.
Yeah.
And only when you learn how to do it, then to move to possibly to other regions.
I see. The question is actually maybe if you can share a few notes about this, like how should I imagine the research, how it goes? Like you bring the questionnaires to the secondary schools, or in thousands?
What age is when does your primary students leave primary school and they enter secondary school at what age?
15.
15. So this is the optimal age for the program.
14, 15.
Okay, 14 to 15, that's the best age for the program. So, and it's very good because you have integrated prevention and you have young people in the new school, and there is a need for the new school that young people integrate between themselves on the basis of something positive. So this program could be a very good thing to do in the first year of their secondary school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a questionnaire. We have descriptions of how to work with the questionnaire. To learn how to do it, I mean, it's just like how to deliver the questionnaire. It's like 2 days training, and you can do it like 3 people who would go to schools would do the research. I mean, it's not a big thing. Of course, translation is important. You need to translate, you need to retranslate, you have to have really very professional translation.
Mm-hmm.
And what is important is that when you have research results and you want to start training of trainers, but you already can show the research results, that's the moment when you can invite us to a conference, and we can do a nice conference together, where we can show Slovakian results. So it already helps to create a positive atmosphere around the whole enterprise.
Great. I'm coming to the end of my questions. I just want to stress, Renáta, feel free if you have some. I just want to stress what you said is really important for the partners and for the cities and municipalities and regions and things like that, that this is integrated approach is holistic and cost effective. It's really interesting that, as you mentioned, the dots over there, like you don't do the prevention only for alcoholism itself, like having a huge program around it, pornography and the other things. You just bring up the integrated approach to more than one problem which youth are facing, and
Yes.
they're facing few problems, but many of them currently.
Yes. So the thinking about effectiveness is that when you look at the cost of the program and you have a big group of young people, and then you have effects, so the real cost of the program is the cost of the effect per person. So, for example, you can have a cheap program that brings no effects. So even if you have 1,000 of these cheap programs that bring no effects, you still have no effects. You can have a medium expensive program that brings only one effect in, let's say, with alcohol. With integrated prevention, we try to bring more effects, working with a bigger group, with the power of a group of trainers, which is extremely important. Renáta, you will understand it, because if you come alone to the class, you can understand the power of work of a team that cooperates. For a trainer of our program, every single new program in a new school is a learning experience, because he hears feedback from his colleagues. How valuable is that? They become really, really good because they have this constant feedback. So that's this cost effectiveness is something for the regional governments, very, very important. And I can tell you that this integrated approach, it was something really new when we were starting it 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was still something new and revolutionary and rejected by many classic experts 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now we had a conference with international experts in Poland, organized by our national centers for different addictions. And this international expert from the main European institution, he was showing tables with different problems and risk factors and protective factors of different problems. And I couldn't believe, this is something that we are doing, since 20 years. And here they invented that you can really think in an integrated way, but they are inventing it now. So introducing this approach to Slovakia, in a way you can say you're very modern.
Oh yes, I see.
But why we were so clever to invent it? Not because we are so clever. You could see it in the research that problems are interrelated. But we had the basis of personalism. So we had this understanding in our minds that a human person is a whole. So you shouldn't make these little divisions, between different problems. So it's just the philosophy that helps us to see a person as a whole.
Doctor, I want to really deeply thank you that you gave us your time. It's very valuable thing these days. So thank you very much for coming. I hope we will meet also in person in Slovakia when the program will start. But it seems to be we need a few more steps to do. But I really have a hope that this really interesting thing, which helps young people in many different ways, it might be really something available in Slovakia. Renáta, also thank you for your time and for having questions for Dr. Grzelak, and also for bringing me to the Polish conference, which I saw a doctor at first time. So I also want to thank also to our viewers, and see you next time. If you have some other words to the end, please feel free.
I just want to thank you. For me, it was a very interesting meeting and very practical questions. And I want to share with you that I believe that if we managed to do any kind of cooperation, I'm sure that you will be very creative cooperators because you have a lot of your own experience. And once we start cooperation, you can see that you will bring your experience and share it with us, and it will be some kind of mutual exchange.
Both ways, yes. Thank you. Have a great evening, all of you, and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.